Okay, so the deviation then is the difference between your score and the mean. Okay? The variance, we square all those differences, we add them up, and we divide by the number of scores. This you'll also see on your data sheet. Okay, but it's not, I don't think I tell you it's variance, they just give you a formula. Then the standard deviation is the square root of that. Okay, so you go back to finding the square root, so you've just got a number and not a square. So those are formulae. They might be in a slightly different format, but I think on the formula sheet they look a bit more complicated. So I've tried to simplify it, but they must be aware of how they work. Okay, so what you would do to work this out manually, you would go, I've given you step-by-step information, okay? So I've taken a whole lot of test marks in percentages. Okay, I've worked out the mean. That's easy enough. You add them up, you divide by the number of scores. Okay? Then the deviations from the mean will be this minus the mean. So it'll be negative. Okay, so obviously if your score is below the mean, you're getting a negative answer and so on. So I've worked out all the deviations there. Then I've squared them. Okay, so all this can be done manually on an ordinary old calculator. It doesn't even have to be a great one. Then we add them up and we divide by 9 because there are 9 items here. And that gives us the variance. Okay, find the square root of that, gives you standard deviation. Okay, so that's the process. Now what would be nice to do is if you actually give them the headings for the columns, give them some numbers, and tell them to then fill in the columns. And don't make it more than 10. Otherwise it's tedious and time consuming. Okay. So that is how they have to know the process to be able to do that. So it's that minus the mean, gives you that number, square it, add it up, divide it by the number of scores, which is 9. And we get 236. Find the square root, standard deviation.